We are recording.
Hello all.
Hello.
Apologies for the lengthy delay in getting this shitcast out. We actually recorded this the night before last, but we had a few technical difficulties in that the audio wasn't hooked up right, so we had about an hour's worth of footage and no sound.
We didn't record 2 episodes at all.
Yes, and this is on top of having COVID. That's why it's taken us so long to get any videos out. We've been sick for the last couple of weeks.
I'm going to blame that for not checking that little line is going up and down.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah, it's all COVID's fault.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But on the upside, you'll note that I have a brand spanking new microphone.
Phallic
You can
symbol.
actually hear my voice now. Yay!
Yes. And we're recording in the daytime, which is a very different thing for us.
Yes.
We usually record at night.
Yes.
And you notice there's like streaks of light occasionally on Alicia's face. It's like,
That's the sun. We're not normally up in the daylight hours, but here we go.
Yeah, Say Hello to the Night is, a
Yeah.
theme tune for us.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So our shitcast today, we are up to the letter J.
And I really didn't want to talk about this again.
No. Warren hadn't seen this movie. It is Jaws the Revenge, or Jaws 4.
Instinctively, man has always been drawn to the sea. Its beauty, its mystery, its secrets. But there is also a vague uncertainty, a sense of intrusion into an alien world, where man is unwelcome and completely at the mercy of the most terrifying predator on Earth. Man's deepest fear has risen again. Jaws, the Revenge. This time, it's personal.
Which is really weird because I just today went on X and people are like talking about this film, and one guy says, we can't retroactively say that this is a good film, so bad it's good and all that. I'm thinking, hold on. So people are actually talking about this film and we didn't even know that people are talking about this film. So it's sort of like there's what do they call it, a zeitgeist about this. And I'm thinking, but why? This film is so bad.
It really, really is bad.
We watch them so you don't have to.
Yeah. The movie is going to be bad just by watching the opening scene when the credits roll. We open with the shark swimming into to Amity, but for some reason the shark is above the water.
It's like a dolphin.
Yeah, he's above the water a bit, he's below the water, but he's above the water enough that if you could picture the shark's eye view, or a human looking at the shark rather, you would see
The shark.
all of the shark. Eyes above the water, teeth above the water.
And there's people actually on the pier celebrating Christmas season and I'm sure one person's having a cigarette or something and looking out in the water and being lonely.
Nobody seems to notice this shark that is above the water for some reason.
They noticed the log.
Yes, we'll get to the log in a minute.
This film is as well made as that log.
Yeah.
It's the visual film equivalent of a log.
Yeah. The basic premise of this movie is that the shark has come back to Amity Island.
Or a shark.
A shark.
Because it could be the grand
Yeah, so
son
we're assuming
shark.
a relation of one of the sharks that were killed
It's a family.
before.
It's like the hills have eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of them come back.
But this shark has come back for revenge on the remaining members of the Brody family.
It's called Jaws the Revenge.
And if you think that's bad,
You ain't seen nothing yet.
yeah. Oh, we're about to get into it. Basically, the plot of this movie is Ellen Brody trying to convince everyone that the shark is out to kill the family, and her trying to stop that from happening.
Like the town crier. Sort of like Martin was in the original movie.
Yeah.
Chief.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this movie doesn't follow on from Jaws 3. It actually follows on from Jaws 2, because in Jaws 3, Mike Brody was played by Dennis Quaid, and he was a
Marine biologist.
He worked at SeaWorld or something. Something like that. He's actually got a very similar job in this movie, so I don't know why it couldn't have followed on from the one before. But he's a marine
analyst.
Yeah.
He's basically gone to the Bahamas to do his graduate study with another fellow student called Jake. Now, Jake's got a Jamaican accent, and obviously he comes from the Caribbean or the Bahamas or something like that. And it doesn't. At no point does it say that Jake went to school with Michael in, I don't know, upstate New York to then go to the island with Michael. Where did he meet Jake?
We don't know. It's never explained.
Oh, just like the rest of the movie.
Yes, but apparently they're studying conchs,
Little seashell thingies.
the snails, underwater snails, for
This is the level
research.
we go to.
And meanwhile, Sean Brody, the youngest Brody, is now a police officer, deputy police officer on Amity Island. Went to the same profession as his father, and the movie is actually set 18 months after Chief Brody's death. Now,
R.I.P. to a legend.
Yeah. Now, Roy Scheider was offered a cameo role in this movie, and he basically said, no, not a snowball's chance in hell would I come back and do this movie. So they killed him off.
Off screen, just like the rest of the movie.
Off screen, he died of a heart attack.
Because of the shark.
We'll get into how he died, the reason why he had a heart attack in a minute. But next on the chopping block is Sean Brody. Now, the movie starts on Christmas Eve, and Sean's about to go home to his family, and the receptionist at the police station gets a phone call. Polly, to say that there is a log that has washed up to shore and is knocked against a buoy, and that buoy is
a log
bent sideways. And apparently this is an emergency. It needs to be removed tonight on Christmas Eve, otherwise it's going to
affect the fishermen in the morning.
The fishermen in the morning.
That's a line.
Somehow. I don't really know how, but apparently that's the thing. So Sean goes down to the marina and hops into a boat. Now, mind you, this is the Sean Brody that was traumatized so much in the first two Jaws movies that he just would not go back in the water.
When you thought it was safe.
Yeah, absolutely traumatized. But apparently he's gotten over that now and has no problems.
He just jumps in that boat and goes.
And
maybe it's showing the bravery and the man he's become since this trauma.
Yeah, because we really explore that. So Sean gets to the buoy and he frees this log. And while he's freeing this log, the shark comes and attacks him. And it's really, really funny.
I mean, if you've ever seen like a Monty Python film, it's basically that level of acting and camera work. And I mean, I sat there thinking, oh, they turned him into a comedy.
Yeah.
Because Jaws is in the top 5 horror films of all time. I mean, it scared a generation of not going into the ocean. I won't go in. I won't go past my knees into the ocean because of that film.
Yeah, me either.
And to turn it in to see how far it's come. I mean, there's a big joke in Back to the Future 2 where it's like Jaws 19 and the shark comes out and attacks Marty like a hologram shark. And when he goes, the shark still looks fake. Jesus, Marty, you ain't seen nothing yet, my boy.
Yeah, the shark actually leaps out of the water.
Leaps. And roars.
Roars. Well, he doesn't roar in the beginning, but he does roar later in the movie.
I heard a roar.
He roars a lot.
Well, maybe it's the water that roared.
But he jumps out and he latches onto Sean's arm and bites it off.
It's like,
which you can't really see, but we then see Sean sort of...
my arm. My arm.
Screaming.
He's a Juilliard trained actor, I suppose.
Yeah, with his yellow slicker over his
You can
torn
see
off
the
arm.
imprint of his arm inside it like that.
You can see his actual arm underneath the slicker. They didn't even bother hiding it.
I would have put it behind him because that looks more like I don't have an arm.
Something like that, but they didn't even try. And then the shark continues to attack him, and it is a nonsensical bunch of cuts of yellow slickers and blood and shark's teeth and wooden panels just all mashed in together.
They used to complain about Michael Bay films being quickly cut. His films look elegant.
Yeah.
Compared to, and actually if you go back and watch Michael Bay films now compared to the films that we have now, Michael Bay films look slow.
You actually cannot see
anything.
You cannot see exactly how the
literally
shark
just come up
Sean.
with text going, Sean has just now died.
Yeah. But he does die, and obviously Ellen Brody's completely traumatized by this. There's quite a few.
Is she though? Because I couldn't tell. The actress Lorraine Gary came out of retirement for this.
Yeah. You can tell that she'd had a long break because
she was fantastic in the first movie. Even the second movie, she was excellent. You could see there was like she was reaching her maximum capacity in the second film of acting ability, but in the first film, she really gave what for, and she was took no shit sort of character.
Yeah,
and I really admired her in that, and I thought she's kick ass, but wow, Lorraine,
the overacting was.
It reminded me of Chris in Friday the 13th Part 3. You can't be alive. You can't be.
Yeah.
It was like, oh my God, it's that level of shit.
So, yeah, and to make matters worse, there are deep logical flaws throughout this film. After Sean is murdered by the shark.
Murdered. Not killed, but murdered because it's an intentional death.
The chief of police gives over Sean's pistol and holster to, with bullets, I'm presuming, to Ellen Brody as a memento.
We thought you'd want these.
And this is a woman who just lost her husband to a heart attack 18 months ago. She's still grieving him. She's just lost her youngest son. Seems a little bit tapped in the head, but yes, let's give her a loaded weapon as a memento. That makes a lot of sense. One of many logical flaws.
I mean, you think about it, the gun would be registered to Sean, or registered to the Amity Police Department. So she actually has a unregistered firearm.
Yeah,
that isn't a replica in a possession. So basically, they're Americans.
Yeah, pretty much. But
sorry, Americans.
After that, Mike flies into Amity with his wife and daughter for Sean's funeral and to come comfort his mother.
I can't remember his wife's name, but his daughter's name's Thea. I remember that.
I think it was Carla.
Carla
or something like that.
Yeah, Carla, that's it. Inconsequential.
Yeah. She's barely in the movie. And we find out that Ellen has decided that the shark is out for revenge, and she explains this to Mike in a very frantic way. She also explains that the reason that her husband died of a heart attack is because of the shark, the stress of the shark that he killed and doesn't exist anymore. So I don't know why he's still stressed. But
They didn't even mention. I mean, you know what they really could have done? I just thought of this.
what?
Do you know how Mike and Jake are doing studies?
Yeah.
Right? They could have said it's funded by Hooper.
Well, I think that was actually the original plan because Richard Dreyfuss was supposed to have a cameo in this movie.
It would have been made sense that Hooper
Yeah.
and Ellen actually get together in this movie.
Yeah.
That actually would have. I would have been on board for that.
Yeah. But, you know, like Roy Scheider, Richard Dreyfuss was like, probably read the script and went, yeah, no.
Have you seen some of the films that Richard Dreyfuss has been in?
Yeah.
And he's a right wing weirdo wacko job now. So
Oh, lovely. Anyway.
yeah. Good riddance.
So we don't stay on Amity for very long, which is a shame because
It really looks great.
Yeah.
It looks exactly like the original film did.
it is a nice trip down memory lane. They use Martha's Vineyard very well. But unfortunately, Mike convinces his mother to fly with them to the Bahamas, where he's doing his studies, just, you know, as a vacation, just to get away from things.
And he actually says the line, "Ma, there's no sharks in the Bahamas. It's warm water.
Yep.
Sharks don't go near warm water
Yep.
because they're cold-blooded mammals.
And for some reason that
Mammals? You
we
know what I mean?
cannot figure out, as we're leaving Amity Island, we get a close-up of the log that Sean dislodged from the buoy. It's now washed up on the shore, and we get an ominous close-up of this log.
And it's the very same stretch of beach where Chrissy
Yeah.
washes up in the first film. And they use the ding ding
Yeah.
of the buoy. And it's
Yeah.
and it actually that's probably the best part of the entire film. But they go to the Bahamas.
Yeah, I don't know what the log was supposed to represent, but
Death.
that's
Death.
the last we see of
Death.
Amity Island.
It's death.
Wow.
Death has
Scary.
come to this little town, Sheriff.
Scary log.
And they to get to the island, they have to be flown, because it's an island in the Bahamas, and they get flown by a character called Hoagie, who is played by,
Michael Caine.
who literally is the best thing about the film. Although Lance Guest plays Mike, and Lance Guest, huge. One of my favorite actors because he was Jimmy in Halloween 2 and Alex in The Last Starfighter, which she hasn't seen it yet. She gonna see it.
Michael Caine apparently accepted this movie. He just read the first lines of the script, opened it up, and saw that it stated they were in Hawaii. So he didn't read the rest of the script, agreed to do the movie just so he could have a holiday in Hawaii.
I mean, I think that's an extremely good way of selecting his movie choices. I mean, even if the film's bad, you're in Hawaii.
Yeah.
I mean, you're drinking Mai Tais on the beach on your days off.
Yeah, and he's since gone on to, agree that he hasn't seen the movie, but he knows that everyone thinks it's crap. But
What's his famous quote?
that
I haven't seen the movie, but I've seen the house it built, and it's a very lovely house.
Saw the house it bought, and it's bloody lovely. Yeah,
Bloody lovely, aye.
good for him. Good for him.
Yes. Good on you, Mikey.
Yeah. So Hoagie flies them
Or Morris.
to the Bahamas, and for some reason, the shark follows them there from Amity Island. Now, we've just been told that the shark doesn't like warm water, and also it is apparently 1,920 kilometres
It's a long way.
from Amity to the Bahamas, and the shark is able to swim there in 3 days.
For all the Americans out there, it's actually lower than Florida.
Yeah.
It's not in America. It's not near America. There are other places apart from America.
So apparently this shark was able to teleport to the Bahamas and doesn't mind the warm water. And, you could kind of forgive Ellen's outburst at the beginning of the movie as, you know, the rantings of a grieving woman.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, the shark is about to prove her theory right. This shark is, in fact, after the Brody family and is out for revenge.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
This is the plot of the movie.
I sat there, guys. I mean, I've avoided this and Superman 4 for the longest time. Seems like 4s are really hard to do, except for in the Friday the 13th and Elm Street series and Halloween. 4's a death knell in a lot of franchises, and Superman 4 is easily the worst Superman film, and this is easily the worst Jaws film, and it's stopped. This is the film that killed the franchise.
Yeah.
Killed the franchise. I mean, Spielberg says Jaws will never be remade in his lifetime. Well, hopefully he's immortal because I don't want to see anyone go near this. I mean, I would love to do a sequel to Jaws and set it in Martha's Vineyard, but I never would. If it was offered to me, I'd take all the money and go, let's make a different movie. Oh, my Lord.
But if you thought that the
Psychic
premise
shark.
was ridiculous
Psychic
already
shark. Psychic
and
shark.
that it couldn't possibly get any more ridiculous,
Psychic shark. Psychic shark.
Psychic Shark. Actually, it's more like Psychic Ellen Brody. She has a psychic connection somehow to this shark and can sense when it's about to attack one of her family members. Because it goes to attack Mike when he's underwater doing his studies, and apparently this shark is able to chase him. 30-foot shark.
It can smell a Brody from 10 k's away.
Yep.
Actually, sharks can only smell blood from 10 k's away.
And Mike's not even bleeding, but apparently he can smell a Brody.
And
can chase him through the labyrinth of an underwater sunken vessel.
through doorways.
Through doorways, it can open doors.
Serpentine.
All of these
It
things.
does. Its tail never moves back and forth, which is how it propels itself in the water. But it's basically like that throughout the entire every shot. It's just a straight line, and there's no moving parts on it at all.
Yeah.
I mean, nowadays you'd CG the crap out of that.
Yeah. I mean, the shark was not great, but the shark.
It wasn't
in
the worst part of the film.
The first movie wasn't great either. They actually did one really good thing in this movie. Mike and Jake sort of attach a sonar to the shark. They decide they're going to study it because the shark isn't supposed to be here.
Because it doesn't go near warm water. I remember that.
They attach a sonar to it, and the sonar emits a heartbeat of the shark every time it's near. And the director decided to do that because he realised that in the first movie, not seeing the shark that much was why it was so scary. In the first movie, we had the yellow barrels representing when the shark was near. So his idea was instead of the yellow barrels, we're going to have the heartbeat. And that's a great idea.
It actually works really well.
The heartbeat is to the time in time with the Jaws theme. And it is very ominous. The problem is it was supposed to be used so that we don't see the shark too much, but we see the shark a lot, like a lot in this movie. He's leaping out of the water at people.
Don't gender identify that shark. It
could be a she, who knows. He's flying. He's swimming.
It may as well fucking fly.
Underwater. We see like the full length of the shark, and it is.
Did Rod and Valerie Taylor have anything to do with this?
No, they didn't use any real sharks. It was all the mechanical shark in this movie.
It's a shame.
Yeah, and you can tell.
It is a real shame because, I mean, their work on the first two films was just phenomenal.
Yeah.
I don't know if they worked on the third one, but that was in 3D. So it's funny, Dennis Quaid and Meg Ryan both had 3D films out at the same time.
Yeah. Anyway.
And they have a great actor of a son, Jack.
But,
the boys.
Yeah, the effects, the shark effects in this movie are so laughable that They actually won a Golden Raspberry Razzie Award for Worst Special Effects, which is both deserved and a little bit mean because the shark is about as good as you could have got
with the budget.
With the budget that they had and the time period.
And
it's
this is
really not that
universal,
much
though.
better than the shark in the first movie, really. It's just that we see it way too often. We see it close up. We can see every groove of it.
You can see the polystyrene in some
Yeah,
shots. You can actually see like the where it hasn't been painted right in some shots.
Yeah,
It's
we
just-
get up too close and personal.
So I'm not talking a lot about this film because I talked about it a lot last time and almost ruined my voice when we didn't have any audio being recorded. And I'm traumatized by this movie. I'm traumatized like the first film traumatized me, but this film's traumatized me more.
And for some inexplicable reason, even though Ellen's been having this psychic connection to the shark, after it attacks Mike, she suddenly has a moment of clarity where she decides,
Let her head down.
it's ridiculous. It's
She's-
ridiculous.
But you forgot to explain. The shark attacks Mike while she's actually having gone to another island with Hoagie to let her hair down and have a little bit of a dance, or just on a date really, and she in the middle of it she's like dancing. She's I'm going to just live life and all that kind of stuff. And Hoagie's going to her, Ellen, I know what you're doing. I know what you're doing. Stop it. Stop it. You're not addressing anything. I'm thinking, Hoagie, mate, you're on a date with a woman. You don't tell her to stop having fun, And all of a sudden she just goes, and the camera zooms in on her. And I was expecting the forced perspective, Roy Scheider on the deck chair sort of thing. And I'm so glad they didn't do that, but they should have done it. And she knows that something's happening with the shark, or something's happening with Michael, or whatever. I mean, a parent's instincts is true. You do feel something when something's happened to your child that's bad, but nothing like this. I mean, geez, it's like they're twins.
Yeah, but she does this, but then later has a moment of clarity where she decides that it's a ridiculous idea that the shark could be after the family, that she's just grieving, that, sharks don't do that. And her psychic ability, for some reason, transfers to Mike. And he starts having a psychic connection to the shark.
Yep, he knows when it's going to be happening now. Mm-hmm. Which is I didn't know psychosis was actually transferable.
Apparently it is.
I mean,
Yeah. So, but Ellen realises that the shark is in fact real because it comes into the
Bay.
bay because her daughter-in-law is having an unveiling of a piece of public art that she's created, which looks like a shark, by the way.
Yeah, great taste. Your brother-in-law's just died.
So she's having this great unveiling. There's people on the beach. There's people in the water. Her granddaughter's on the
A
back
pontoon.
attached to a jet ski.
It's
having
like
a little,
6 people on it.
Yeah.
And she's the second last person.
Yeah. And the shark comes to attack that pontoon and grabs a lady off the back, and it's actually pretty cool.
It's gruesome.
Yeah.
And I'm like thinking, this is picking up.
Yeah, grabs her by the leg.
Doesn't last.
It's actually probably one of the best shots of the movie.
Yeah.
But Ellen then realizes, oh no, the shark is here. The shark is real. The shark is after our family because it was clearly after the granddaughter.
Because she's a Brody.
So the daughter-in-law rescues Thea out from the water, so she's okay. And then Ellen suddenly decides, that's it. I've got to end this.
We've got to go into detail on this though, because Michael knows something's wrong.
Yeah.
He gets that psychic flash.
Yes.
And so him and Jake come back to the island from their pontoon where they're the little deck that they've got
Yeah.
where their study base, and they have a boat called the Neptune's Folly. Now, the Neptune's Folly is the boat they use to go out to it, and they moor it to it. Now, Ellen, at this point, at the pier, gets in the Neptune's Folly and goes out to chase the shark. Now, hold on. Michael and Jake are on the pontoon coming back in the Neptune's Folly. They don't make it back to the island yet. And Ellen goes out in the same boat, ship, whatever.
Yeah.
Now, there's logic flaws and there's logic flaws, guys. And I just sat there going, I paused the movie and I said, you got to be fucking kidding me. You know, didn't anyone see this?
Apparently not.
And so Jake and Michael get back to the bay, and Carla tells Michael, "Oh, your mum's just gone out to chase the shark." He goes, "It's like almost you fucking what?" And so then they get in a small dinghy, and they go to chase Ellen, and they come across Hoagie.
He's coming in a different dinghy in the opposite direction.
He's just been fishing. He says, "There's no bloody fish." Obviously, they should have actually had a scene where the shark is eating all the fish, and that should have been a bigger part of the story, because then it would have been like all the fishermen are getting upset about there's no fish there because the shark's eating them. Should have been a longer film. Anyway, no, it shouldn't. And then Hoagie says, "Well, you're not gonna bloody well catch her in that." It says, "Let's get my plane." Now, he doesn't own the plane. It's his boss's plane, and he can take it out whenever he wants. So he says. So they get in his boat. They go back to shore, get in the car, go to the airport, get in the plane, and fly out. Now, this is a prop plane. There's two propeller prop plane, right? So biplane. So it has no skiffs. It's got no things to land. It's just a plane.
Yep.
It's not a water plane. You know, we used to have a show called Water Rats in Australia, and they had planes that land on the water with the skiffs.
So you may ask yourself, how do they plan on landing this plane in the middle of the ocean?
I would say badly.
Badly. In fact, what they do is crash the plane, but they crash it for a reason. You actually wrote this down.
Oh, yeah. Are you going to read this bit?
Yeah.
Can you read my writing?
Yes.
It's in big. I boldly...
Hoagie explains...
No, Jake explains. It's Jake that
Is it
says
Jake?
it. Jake says it.
Oh, okay. That the shark will be attracted to the magnetic body of the plane.
A shark likes blood. It likes flesh. It likes tearing things apart with its teeth. I've never heard of a shark that likes metal.
So apparently crashing the plane would divert its attention away from the Neptune's Folly.
Metal.
And it will go towards the plane instead.
This makes zero sense. The probe they put on it would not even be attracted to the metal of the body.
But they get out, they crash the plane in the water, they get out of the plane, they swim over to Neptune's Folly, and now there is Mike, Jack, and Hoagie and Ellen on the boat with no weapons and no plan.
And no hope.
And no hope. But Jack apparently does have a plan.
Jake.
Goes downstairs.
I'm an asshole.
I can never remember his name.
I know. He's that much of a rememberable character.
But he goes downstairs and decides he can create this device that is going to interfere with the sonar that they've attached to the shark. When they press a button, it's going to make it go crazy and interrupt its electromagnetic impulses in its body. Yeah. And this device is powered by a 9-volt battery.
It's a dolphin battery. If you know what a dolphin battery is, then it would have like 2 amps at the most, you know?
Yeah.
What the anyway?
Yep. But, apparently it works and
only too well.
yeah, I'm going sunlight on my face here. There we go. That's better. Yeah, apparently it works, and they're able to disrupt the shark, and he goes crazy in the water. And then
You actually see its mouth go, ah, and it roars.
And it roars, yeah. Actually, like a lion or something. And that sound was lifted from a Tom and Jerry cartoon, that roar, a Tom and Jerry cartoon that was made in 1946. And the reason they lifted the sound from that cartoon is because the sound editor went, sharks don't roar. I'm not creating a sound for that. That's stupid.
Smartest man in this production.
Yeah. Unfortunately, they did not listen to the sound editor. So the shark roars and Ellen starts to steer the ship towards the shark, and she pierces it with the spike on the front of the bow of the ship. And for some reason, piercing it with this spike of wood causes the shark to explode.
Because
it dies.
There's no combustibles, especially in that little device that they've got on the shark. This is the reason why Jake does his little 9-volt battery thing, is because the shark's got the probe in it still, like it's still attached to it. So, radio controlled taser, I suppose you'd say. The taser's not going to blow up a shark. The spike is not going to blow up a shark.
Nothing's
There's no
going to
combustible
blow up the shark.
that's going to blow up. The only thing that would be if it had a gas tank in its mouth and someone shot it. But hold on, that scene's in the film.
It is.
In a flashback,
Yes.
to Martin Brody shooting the shark in the first film.
Because that's the other thing that Ellen has the ability of, to recall memories of things that occurred while she was not present.
I remember the birth of Christ very well.
The death of her son, her husband killing the shark in the first movie. Apparently, this is all in her memory, and she remembers it before the shark dies.
Okay.
And before the shark is actually killed, we should mention that Jake fell into the water and he's attacked by the shark.
In his entire body, like his body's here.
Yeah.
The shark goes and drags him down.
And you think he's killed, but
Wait, there's more.
apparently he's okay. And after the shark explodes, he swims up to the top and he's like, hello, I'm alive.
You forgot about me, man.
Now, this isn't the original ending of the movie. The original ending of the movie was Ellen pierces the shark with the bow of the ship, and then in its death contortions, it breaks the boat apart and they all have to jump off the boat, and that's kind of the end of the movie.
And
Jack actually dies.
Jake.
It's Jack.
Jake.
I don't know. Who cares?
Mario Van Peebles.
That guy. And he actually dies. But apparently test audiences thought that that was all too much. So they brought him back to life and added
Just like Evanescence.
an explosion. And to add insult to injury, after the shark explodes, which again is another nonsensical bunch of cuts that you really can't tell what's happening, you then see the shark sinking to the bottom of the ocean. And it's a very familiar scene. Why is it familiar? Because it is lifted in its entirety from the end of the original Jaws.
They own the footage, but don't own the spark of awesomeness
Yeah.
that was the original movie.
Yeah.
That belongs to one man.
They didn't even try to change any of it. I believe that when the shark is sinking, it's got parts of like the orca in its mouth and identifiable things from the first Jaws.
The license plate.
Yeah, all of that stuff. And they don't attempt to get rid of any of that. They just lift.
It's the same shark. It's a resurrected. It's a zombie shark.
Yep. They just lift the shot out of the first movie.
It's the shark that fought the zombie in Zombie, and now the shark is a zombie, and it's come back and went to. Oh my fucking god! Look, just don't watch this film.
Yeah.
It's that bad.
And that's apparently the end of the movie.
See, one of my favorite actors of all time, in my top 10 actors of all time, is Michael Caine. Right? I mean, for reasons. And he couldn't save this movie. He was the best thing in it, but he couldn't save this movie.
No.
I mean, he's totally charming in the movie. He's does what he can with it. He's Michael Caine. You know, any old bird would fall for him.
Yeah.
And
We actually had to watch Dress to Kill last night just to remind ourselves
how good he is.
that Michael Caine is in fact a good actor.
Oh, he was magnificent in that. I really forgot how good he is in that film. You know, he phenomenal actor. He doesn't get as much credit.
Yeah.
I mean, he did win an Academy Award, but that's for that crappy Nolan
Yeah.
Batman shit.
Yeah.
But you know,
He won an Academy Award for what movie was it?
Hannah and Her Sisters.
Yeah,
Woody
the
Allen.
year that this movie was made, but he wasn't able to attend the Academy Awards to accept the Oscar because of reshoots for Jaws: The Revenge.
I mean, if he'd have been there, he would have said, "Yeah, thank you very much. You know, I've just come from the Bahamas where I'm shooting this new movie called Jaws: Revenge. You know, I'm having a great time. Thank you."
Something like that.
Yeah, he would have said, "I'm on holiday. Leave me alone."
But anyway,
poor
this
Michael.
movie is a piece of crap. So
Hold on, this movie is a piece of crap, and the tagline is just beautiful. I don't know if you'll be able to read it, but on the back at the top it says, "This time it's personal," right there. And I mean, I love taglines for movies. You know, Back to the Future's got a great few taglines. Jaws 2, best tagline of any movie of all time. Just when you thought it was safe to go back in the water. Literally, I saw that as a child, and I was scared of the tagline. I was like, "Well, what the hell?" This one, this time it's personal. Could be like sort of trying to aliens it, you know, because it's almost like making what's her name, Ellen, into Ellen.
yeah,
They're trying to Ripley, the mum.
but she ain't no Ripley.
She ain't no Ripley. She got no character. There's no character there. There's no, apart from her being a grieving mum, which I sympathise, and a grieving widow, which okay. I just really don't think that there is enough substance to her as an actress or a character to warrant having her become this kick-ass action hero. I think that's where they're trying to steer it.
Yeah.
And if they'd have gone, as we say, I can't say the word, but full R. If they'd gone full R, then this film, you know, even if they'd have made it absolutely bonkers, it might have worked.
But it didn't.
It didn't because they held back. It's like pulling your punch. It's a universal film. Jaws is a universal monster, you know, if you really want to get down to it. And you've got to embrace that and just go whole hog.
So who is this movie for?
I can't remember what I said the first time.
For people who are obsessed with Shark Week.
Oh, yeah, and Sharknado.
Yeah.
People that like bad shark movies.
Yeah.
This is for you.
Yeah. If you will watch literally anything with a shark in it, then you'll watch this.
Yeah.
If you have any taste at all,
You won't.
don't bother. Don't bother.
I got more taste in my little finger than this film has its entire 138 minutes or
What
whatever
is
it is.
the best line in this movie?
The best line. I wrote this down. Oh, well, the best line is the one that you like.
Yes, it's when little
Thea.
Thea is having a conversation with her grandmother and Ellen's being, evasive. So Thea says to her, "It's not nice to be evasive." And it's like, ooh.
And just thinking, oh, yeah, slap that child. This is awesome.
But also,
Yeah.
it was a good line.
What's the worst line? Your worst line.
The world would be a better place if more sons danced with their mothers. It's said by Hoagie to Mike Brody when he cuts in on the dance floor to dance with his mother. Now, it shouldn't be a creepy line, but it kind of is the way he delivers it. I don't know why. What was your worst line?
Still, I'm getting tired of all this paradise shit. It's getting on my last nerve. That's Jake. I'm not going to do the accent because I do a very bad Jamaican accent, and I'm not going to culturally appropriate anything in this episode like I did last time in the episode that had no audio.
What is the most over-the-top performance?
Jake. I mean, we haven't talked about him really at all. But,
yes, he has
Murray Van Peebles is a good actor. He's great.
Yeah.
There's a couple of westerns that he's been in that are just amazing. But he does a really bad Jamaican accent. He also,
which is very inconsistent.
You got a big fish down here, man.
yes. I mean, there's one point where he says the name Michael, and he says Michael as opposed to
Michael.
Thank you. She did it, not me. And it's just, it's embarrassing. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people would say Hoagie. Michael Caine is the most over-the-top performance. But he actually pared it back a bit, I think.
I think
I thought he was charming.
beyond a shadow of a doubt, the most over-the-top performance was Lorraine Gary, especially in the beginning of the movie when she's explaining to Mike that the shark is out for revenge. I thought that was just, it was like soap opera acting.
Come and get me, you son of a bitch.
But seriously, though, I mean, there is a thing that actors say it's all in the script. And really, all the shit is in this script.
Yes,
I mean, it's not just the actor's fault.
it's true.
I mean, then again, Michael Caine does a bang-up job with a really shit script.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's half and half. A little bit of both for
What
me.
are the worst effects in the movie?
The shark.
I
No, actually, no, the missing arm of Sean at the beginning.
yeah. That's pretty bad. That and the optical when they're in the plane. Every time they're in the plane, the background looks ridiculous, and I was completely distracted by the glowing white matte lines around every single person in the plane. It was
Embarrassing.
pretty poorly put together.
I mean, probably this OBS program that we use to record could probably do a better job.
Yep.
She said it was coming.
What do you mean she said it was coming? What do you know about it?
Well, she's got the idea in her head that the shark that killed Martin and Sean is following the family. If I go any faster, this thing will turn into a flying Cuisinart and we'll all be diced into oblivion.
What's the worst editing moment?
Now, I put the voice, I actually wrote the voice deformation of Mario Van Peebles when Michael's in that little scuba thing going underwater. They're trying to do like the where you're underwater, what are you doing? Like thing. That's better than what they actually came up with.
Yeah, it's like a weird synthesizer.
It's
thing.
very strange. I mean,
Yeah.
and he's got this big sort of like microphone that he puts in the water, and he's talking into it, and it's like that's transmitting to what Michael's got. Walkie-talkies.
Yeah.
I mean, I know technology was pretty bad back then for that kind of thing, but walkie-talkies.
My worst editing moment was Sean's death. Just the
Ending.
the nonsensical cuts. You literally have no idea what was going on. If you were to play that in frame by frame, you would still have no idea what's going on.
Michael Small is the editor of this movie. I'm sure that's probably an alias for someone that's, an editor, a real editor. Maybe they did this while they were drunk or high or had. I mean, then again, I've edited things and I've just gone, there's no footage here to do anything with. So you've had to piece things from other things. Maybe that's what it was. I
Maybe.
mean, this is Joseph Sargent that directed this.
Yeah.
He did Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3,
Yeah.
which is a banger of a film.
Don't know. What would you give it out of 10?
Originally, I think I said 1, but I think I'll go 1.5 for Lance Guest and Michael Caine.
I'm giving it a 2, just because the premise is so bad, it's actually amusing. It's one of those movies that you could actually get together with a group of friends and a bunch of cocktails and just have a laugh. And that's literally the only reason it gets any points at all.
I won't be at this party. I will be.
He's not watching it ever again.
I'll leave the house if this gets put on ever again. In fact, can you put that in the bin?
There we go.
I'm not even donating it to Goodwill.
By Jaws 4.
That's my revenge.
All right. So for the second time, this is the second recording of this.
It will not be a third.
We shall say ta-ta.
So from me, stay out of the water. Stay out of the water, but stay hydrated at the same time. Don't drink salt water because it'll make you dehydrated.
And remember, leggings are not pants. Bye.
Goodbye.